Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness some scenes from the next attraction to play this theater. This picture, truly one of the most unusual ever filmed, contains scenes which under no circumstances should be viewed by anyone with a heart condition or anyone who is easily upset. We urgently recommend that if you are such a person or the parent of a young or impressionable child now in attendance, that you and the child leave the auditorium for the next 90 seconds.
Well, hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to another episode of the Video Nasty Project. Tonight, we begin our deep dive into the non-prosecuted list with a Lucio Fulci classic, The Beyond. Check out the trailer.
You are Liza, aren't you?
Yes.
My name is Emily. I've been looking for you. Go back to where you came from and hurry. Leave this place. "60 years ago, everybody in this hotel disappeared. Every last person. A painter called Spike, who lived here, closeted in his room, had found a key.
Tell me, with all those accidents, you think you'll give it up now?
I couldn't do that if I wanted to. Well, I won't give in.
Who else is here?
There's nobody here.
I can feel a presence. Somebody else is in here.
Oh, some weird story that Emily told me about room 36.
Emily? Who's Emily?
The blind girl that lives in the old house by the crossroads.
But
that's not true. It's not possible. I was there.
This house was constructed on one of the... Woe be unto him who opens one of the 7 gateways to hell, because through that gateway, evil will invade the world.
And welcome back. We just kicked off the non-prosecuted list with Lucio Fulci's third visit to the list and The Beyond. So the movie starts out in 1927 Louisiana, and we see this angry mob of very white villagers come to this hotel, the Seven Doors Hotel. And they're obviously in full-on lynch mob mode. They blow into the hotel, shouting for this guy in room 36. And he's painting. They bust in. you're a warlock. It's like, no. I'm just here to try and stop the gate of hell that's beneath this hotel from opening up. You guys need me. And they're like, no. And they start whipping him with chains, and they grab him and they drag him into the basement, and they nail his hands to the wall, and they start throwing quicklime on him, and they're like, warlock, and they're freaking the fuck out. Cut to the modern day era of 1981. The hotel has swapped ownership to this lady who's come down from New York. And she is like, cool, I've got a hotel, I can turn my life around, and starts renovating it. Unfortunately, the gate of hell beneath it has opened up. So all sorts of crazy shit starts happening, like the spider attack. There's Emily, the blind lady with the weird contacts. She shows up and starts doing the crazy Ralph, you're doomed, you should leave. And she's like, whatever, I'm from New York, I'm a tough girl, and whatever. And then the movie just kind of devolves into this weird series of really horrific events with the thinnest of connective tissue between them.
Which is weird because in his other films, there was a cohesion.
Yeah, there is some elements of plot in the fact that the doctor does some investigating. He finds some odd things that are going on, like Emma, the blind woman, actually isn't living in the house that Liza goes and visits her in.
Yeah.
But really, there's not an awful lot of story following.
Well, if you try and apply logic to this movie, you're going to come away frustrated. Because there's bits like, at the very end of the movie, they're in the hospital, and they're fighting the zombies, and then they run away from the zombies, and they go into this door, and wait a minute, we're in the basement, and they never explain why they're in the basement, other than it's crazy hell portal shenanigans.
I actually kind of liked that aspect, because it wasn't explained. It was just a cosmic shift because of a gateway to hell.
The characters themselves actually go, how did we get here?
Yeah, exactly.
But there's lots of points in the movie that happens. Like, you pointed out that why are there tarantulas in New Orleans when there are no tarantulas in New Orleans? My counter to that complaint is that they're hell tarantulas. They don't sound like tarantulas because tarantulas don't sound like squeaking metal. They generally don't jump on some dude's face and then eat the fuck out of it.
No.
So those aren't real tarantulas.
Looking at the conversation regarding the opening of the film and how the style of the black and white, the sepia tone, the editing, the pacing, the mob, and all of that, it really does set a tone.
It's not anything you would be able to do in color. It really has to be done in black and white. He plays a lot with the shadows and the tone, and it's just this really, really good job of establishing that this is a very moody and dark piece, because it looks gorgeous throughout.
It sets the mood. It gets you going, ooh. And it's when it jumps to modern day and the film goes to color, the editing changes, the pacing changes. There's where part of my problem is coming from, is like, I was given a, ooh, this is what I get to look forward to, and then
the hospital sequence with all the zombies at the very end was mandated by Fulci's producers because zombies were hot at the time. And they said, put zombies in the movie. And he's like, it's like, we don't care, put zombies in the movie. And they're like, all right.
The sequences, as far as being action, they're good. They're done well in that regard.
It was bolted on, but it didn't really feel like it was bolted on.
My problem with the whole hospital scene with the zombies is the fact that enter the hospital, encounters nobody. Goes up a floor, encounters nobody. And then all of the hallways that were completely empty have very slow-moving, shuffling zombies. Dozens of them. In every corridor, on every floor. They end up in the morgue not once, but twice. And in both instances, the bodies aren't moving, but there's zombies running around outside all of a sudden that appeared out of nowhere. You would think that if the zombies appeared out of nowhere, the bodies in the morgue all would have stood up too.
Maybe the hell portal was fucking with them. There's an intelligence behind the zombies as opposed to your normal Romero just shuffling around zombies. So maybe the hell portal was fucking with them, laying a trap. Hey, I'm going to keep these zombies in reserve, and when they get in here and their guard's down, surprise, I'm unleashing my zombies.
Yeah, yes,
I didn't think of that.
You can extrapolate that. Yeah. Yes, but retrospectively, you figured that out retrospectively after personally, it's one moment, one scene cut to another of the
It would have made a little bit more sense if you'd had some random dead bodies lying in the hall of the hospital, because that way at least you could explain where the zombies came from all of a sudden. They got up.
And a lot of these zombies are showing evidence of carnage. There's no evidence of carnage anywhere in the hospital, only on the zombies. You would think, with all the windows that get broken once the zombies appear, there would have been broken windows before that. But you have an out.
That's
the painter's fucking with them. A way of putting it is like there's too many speed bumps. What? Because and those speed bumps are probably, from as you pointed out, it was mandated to him to have zombies in the film.
Maybe a last-minute addition. Here's another 40 pages. Great.
Yeah, I mean, he's already commenced production, and now he has to make a change. Roll the eyes. All right, zombies. And that begins to piece together the holes that I find in the film. Oh, that could be why.
But even bolted on as it was and studio mandated by his producers, I didn't think the bit in the mortuary and the hospital felt tacked on.
That sequence flowed greatly because, okay, I have to put in a whole sequence with zombies. So he wrote that from beginning to end. He wasn't inserting anything into it. That might be why that whole sequence comes out the way it does. It comes out really good. It has its problems, but it's good.
It doesn't feel as choppy as some of the other sequences.
Now, you said that they front-loaded the movie with a bunch of style and slick and gorgeousness.
That's one way of putting it, yeah.
There were instances spread throughout the movie that also emulated that kind of feel and tone. Like there was the one scene where Liza and Emily were talking about what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
and
okay.
They had Liza in focus, and their light is playing on her face, and she got half light, half shadow. And they rack focus to Emily or to Liza in the background, and then they go back to Emily again. And I thought that was really slick and well done. Mm-hmm. They have instances like that throughout the movie of great cinematography. So I don't think it was entirely frontal.
Also, the ending sequence where they shifted from the hospital into the hotel basement, and then from the hotel basement into the afterlife realm, or presumably hell. I mean, that was really well done. And the characters themselves pointed out that what just happened, but it adds to the feeling of mystery and the what the hell's going on sort of feeling that the film has.
Well, one of the things that I found really silly about it is all right, they're looking in one direction and they cut to what they're looking at, and they turn around completely and look back the way they come, and they show the exact same scene.
It could be a tesseract. I mean, it is hell.
It is hell. What they could have done to at least, I think, and it wouldn't have been hard to achieve, was like, okay, everybody, hold still. We're going to move the camera to the other side of the room and point it the other direction.
Yeah.
Because all they were doing is just shooting a static plate. Is really what they were doing.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but they didn't. I think that was an afterthought.
But that whole sequence was really well done. I liked that. And the fact that there were these weird discontinuities of place and time made it more interesting from an audience perspective. You're like, how the hell did they get from the hospital to the basement? And how the hell did they get to this other place with all the soot and all these dead bodies lying around? You know,
Over the course of the last few months, I've been introduced to giallos. And a couple of the films, I've seen them long ago and didn't realize that giallo was a genre. I do know it now. The films that jump out, I understand all of the elements that are making up a giallo as a giallo. And I think that's where this problem I'm having with this film is coming from.
Yeah, technically, I don't think this ticks all the giallo boxes. It doesn't have the mass killer. It doesn't have the slick, gorgeous... Well, it does have some slick, gorgeous color, but it's not primarily driven by style over substance.
Is Fulci, giallo. This isn't a giallo.
You don't do a lot of Italian horror movies. And admittedly, until I started doing this project...
I've done a lot of them now.
Yeah, I think I'm more acclimatized and probably a little more accepting of the, okay, this movie is just a bunch of crazy shit going on. Kind of like how, okay, this movie has a lot more depth and stuff going on under the hood than The Cell did, but The Cell was very, yeah, it also sacrificed flavor, or story for flavor. By the way, go see, ding. So I think I'm more forgiving of narrative. What the fuck is going on? It looks good. Fine, I'll accept.
also, I've seen, not specifically a fair number of Italian horror movies, but I've seen a fair number of European horror movies, and they have a decidedly different flavor to them than American horror films do. Also, when you're experienced at this, you can watch a film, not know what nation it's from, and then see it in the end credits, and you're like, yeah, I'll believe that. You know, because different countries have their own different way of doing things.
I attacks aside, you could tell this was a Fulci film before you got to the eyes.
Oh, yeah. I can tell it was an Italian director at any rate.
Retrospect and thinking it over, 2020 hindsight, I'm beginning to see why I'm having all the problems that I'm having with the film.
So what was your favorite death?
My favorite death?
Your favorite death?
My favorite death is the plumber. I think because it's innocuous enough at the beginning of it. Oh, he's there to work on the plumbing. Okay. Slugs through the water. It's like murky. Starts chiseling away at the wall. Suspicion on my as a viewer. I'm like, okay, something's gonna come out of the water or through the wall. Water, wall, through the wall.
So what was your favorite death then?
My favorite death is going to have to be Joe's poor widow in the morgue with the acid. The acid falls from the shelf, hits the poor lady on the face, kills her, dissolves her face, and then the face juice chases the daughter around the room. It's like this bloody, nasty, frothy stuff, and she's like cowering in different corners, trying to avoid touching the stuff.
And it's a great effect. The face melting is a really good effect.
Oh yeah, it was quite horrifying.
I think the only other time I've seen a face melting effect that was done as well was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I was horrified by the poor lady's face getting dissolved, but the frothy evil badness chasing the red-haired daughter across the floor was just like, wow, that was really intimidatingly scary. And
that was a great sequence.
And this is from Arachnophobe. You think I would have picked the one with the bloody tarantulas, but no, I liked the froth on the floor chasing the girl around.
I'm going to have to go with those fucking spiders. God, get them off me. That shit just skeeves me the fuck out. And just the long, protracted nibbling the bits off his face and the blood squirting and the and then it's all, there's this one shot where it's from his perspective. They took a tarantula and they put it on a glass plate and they shot from below. And you just see this close-up of the tarantula and I'm just like, oh, fuck me.
We do have to give an honorable mention to the nail on the wall with the lady being killed by Joe the plumber, and gets eye popping out because, it's...
Yeah, there's more than one death in this film that bears a mention.
Oh, all the deaths are great. The effects are great. The suspense is great. The gore is good.
the sudden surprise of some of them, like the lady getting killed by her guide dog. It's like, oh my god, I didn't see that one coming.
No, it was quality all around for all the deaths.
The music was good.
Fabio Frizzi's came back to do work with Fulci again, and he has this brilliant way of taking and layering the music so that you had this ethereal score, this singing, this la 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 la, and then underneath you had this low rumble of zombie sound effect that really worked and really sold the hell out of those moments.
Vocals in music, in incidental music or supporting music, or the music that is meant for setting the mood, I've always felt is phenomenally better than just being music.
On the other hand, the music was great. The dubbing, not so great.
Compared to other Fulci movies,
Yeah, it just wasn't a great dub.
drops the ball. There's a number of sequences throughout the film. The sequences themselves are well conceptualized. And you already touched upon it, Tony. It's the stuff in between where it kind of... It's basically...
It doesn't have really good connective tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, that's where that's where I started commenting about the laziness of it. That didn't really happen with City of the Living Dead, or I know what it's, Gates of Hell. That's my favorite name of the film. That's what I saw it as in a movie theater, in a drive-in. I saw that in a drive-in, and I hiding in the back seat, behind the seat, peeking over the top, because that was freaking me out. But then House by the Cemetery, the sequences they're threaded together. There's more. There's nothing that happens that makes me stop and go, huh? Except for...
I enjoyed House of the Cemetery a lot more than I enjoyed this. This film was enjoyable, but House of the Cemetery I thought was well done.
I will give you that House by the Cemetery is a lot less disjointed and a lot more... This felt like a whole bunch of vignettes with a very thin line, whereas there was a more narrative structure to House by the Cemetery. So you mentioned how that the movie was edited. There's a couple of different edits floating around. There was one, I have to give a shout out to one video production company in specific, the one that edited the movie down to the 7 Doors of Death. Now, whatever you do not find that version of the movie because it's missing all the really good bits. However, it has this really gorgeous artwork on the big box VHS. It looks like an old EC magazine cover with like the Crypt Keeper, and it's like, and just like the 3 stills, and like there's Emily in one, and she's looking there, and then there's like, you know, the Spike lady.
When I was poking around for behind the scenes trivia and whatnot, that is an image I remember seeing.
Nice.
So it's a gorgeous looking image, even though the copy is terrible. So I got to give them at least props for that.
Well, here's a little bit of something. And I'm not going to mention it
Nice.
specifically. The people who are watching this who have seen the film I'm going to reference will go, oh, in one of there's a nightmare sequence in one of the Spider-Man movies. The guy who made the movie lifted a scene out of the Beyond and dropped it into the Spider-Man movie for the nightmare.
Oh, nice.
So now I'm like, okay, maybe that's why that looked familiar. Those okay.
So, no, I will agree that this is not a perfect movie. It's not a movie for everyone. If you can't handle this sort of thing, you're probably not going to like it. But I think the strengths outweigh the weaknesses.
I'm okay with... I'm not going to argue against that. I just... Too many speed bumps for me.
That's fair enough.
Too many speed bumps. Especially considering I've seen the other 2 films that are in this trilogy. And they're phenomenally superior films.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
I agree with Ian in that regard. However, I will disagree with you that this is not a horrible film.
No.
It's
I like the film.
It has issues.
It has issues.
There's a fair number of films that are out there like that have issues.
I subscribe to my issues.
So, As we've made the jump to the non-prosecuted list, The Beyond managed to slip through the net. Should The Beyond have been placed on the list?
For that time frame, yeah, there's a couple of things in the movie that do warrant it. Contemporarily speaking, no. But 1981, yeah.
So would you have put it on the list?
Yes. One, the kid getting her head shot. Because, well, kids getting killed, that's just not kosher with me.
And that was pretty graphic and gratuitous.
That was pretty graphic and gratuitous. The other one was the spiders, which just creeped me the hell out.
Oh my god, the spider scene was very well done and gave me the heebie-jeebies. For the spider scene alone, I would put it on the list. Yeah. Then you blow up the kid's head, I put it on the list.
Okay, then there's the housekeeper and her right eye.
Through the spike, yeah.
I mean, we are dealing with a director who has a lot of death shots involving eye effects.
We're also dealing with a director who has 3 movies on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I would ban it because the thing is nasty as fuck. It's a, nasty, nasty movie. Did you like The Beyond?
Generally, yeah, it's an okay film.
I enjoyed it. I was entertained. I like it. It's not a film I'm going to rave about. It's not a film that I'm going to disparage.
I love the fuck out of this movie. I am much more enthusiastically yes for this movie than you guys. Of the Fulci movies I've seen, this one, hands down, is probably the best. Admittedly, it's a small sample. I haven't seen all that many, 4 or 5. But this one I like the best.
If you're a completist, yes, watch the film.
Yeah.
Would I want it on my shelf? No.
So, there we go. There's our kickoff show for the non-prosecuted list. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.
Well, that was a hell of a way to kick off the non-prosecuted list, wasn't it? Tell us what you thought about Fulci and his movies. Tell us what you thought about The Beyond. Drop us a note. The email address is thevideonastyproject@gmail.com. And check it back in next week when we take a look at Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. I've never seen it before, so I have no idea what we're getting into. Until then, y'all take care of yourselves now. Bye-bye.